Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Columbus Local Podcast. Today we have Ann Wilson. Ann is here, popped up to the 13th floor in Columbus, Ohio. We are here to get to know Ann a little better. We know her as 6 Foot Blonde in Columbus, Ohio. Ann, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Len.
We just were hanging out with Beth Ann Newsom, Cronenweth, who is also going to be performing tonight. What's the date today? August
12th.
August 12th of 2023 at Flint Station, the patio tonight. So they were hanging out today, going over the show, and I'm really happy that, you're willing to do a podcast episode.
Well, you fed me some really good food, so how could I say no?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was good. It was kind of whipped up, but nonetheless, the show sounds great tonight. Can't wait to come out.
Yep, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I always enjoy playing with Beth, and Birdie told me that you might jump up on stage and do a couple numbers with us or for us.
I'll try to.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm worthy.
You are.
So, Ann, for you, 6 Foot Blonde, you've got a lot of various renditions of, whether it's acoustic or full band. And I've seen quite a bit of that variation this year. You'd like to mix it up?
I do. I love to. Life is short. You got to do a little bit of everything, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, your show is always fun, too. I mean, you've got great diversity of material, and, it's just a fun time to be at one of your shows. Do you plan ahead when you put your set list together?
Well, I try to, and then I immediately deviate from that set list. That was the big joke for many years with the full band, was how many songs is it going to take before she deviates? Usually it was about 3. But, you have to gauge the crowd and see, are they awake? Are they asleep? Do they need something to wake them up? Or maybe they're having dinner and we need to do something a little softer.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, excuse me. Yeah, I know with Beth too. Beth will she'll gauge the crowd. She'll make adjustments, and that's a good way to go. Good way to approach things. So, how many gigs do you have this year, and what are your plans for 24 or 25?
I am just flying by the seat of my pants currently. I don't have a lot booked, but that doesn't mean that I won't have 10 more shows this year, because people just keep asking me to play, and I keep thinking, I'll kind of start thinking about retiring from music a little bit. I've been in it for a long time, and I've had so many really wonderful experiences, and I think, what else is there? And then somebody says, do you want to provide, full band for this corporate event, or why don't you just come over and play our block party tomorrow? And I always have such a hard time saying no. Because
Why
it's fun. Yeah. So I think, well, if I don't plan it, it's not going to happen. But that's not what life has in store for me. So I guess I'll keep doing it as long as they keep asking me. But don't tell anybody.
Oh, they'll keep asking you.
It's our secret, Len.
So that's how you book all these cool gigs.
That's how I do it.
They just come to you.
Yeah. I pretend I don't want it, and they get it.
Oh, that's awesome. So for you, then, how long have you been, doing music? When did you start?
I started kind of late. I was in my 30s, actually. So, I sang in the choir, and I always loved music, but playing out and performing, I never was that little kid that said, I want to be on stage, I want to be on TV. It just really wasn't on my radar, but I just always had such a love of singing. Just there's something that happens in my brain, like I don't think about anything else when I'm singing. It's just peaceful but joyful. And so it never occurred to me. I didn't have high school garage bands out there. I was in the choir, and then I was singing karaoke because that was a lot of fun, and you got to be a star. And so I was out singing karaoke one time, and a gentleman in a band came up to me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about being in a band?" And of course I said, "No, I actually really honestly haven't." And he said, "Well, let's get together."
You were in your 30s at the time?
Yeah. It was about 20 years ago. And he said, our backup singer's moving away with her husband. He's in the military, and we could maybe try to work something out. So he got my information, and I gave him mine, and I didn't call him. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's not really, I don't know. I have a couple little kids. What am I going to do? And he called me, and he was a charming guy, Tom Ciancetta with the Zen Blues Band, talked me into coming over and jamming a little bit with him. And he had some good things to say, and he was just, again, it's fun. Get out there. Let's make everybody part of the band. And I liked what he had to say, and pretty soon I was the lead singer of the Zen Blues Band, much faster than I thought it was going to happen. There was a definite lineup change pretty quick there, and found myself the lead singer of a band that I just knew nothing. It was, deer in the headlights time for a while.
Yeah, but you did fine, right?
I did. I mean, I got into it and, spent a couple years in that band. And then...
The Zen Blues played a lot of places in Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus, and we even traveled some, and it was fun. It was a good time. And I learned a lot. I think I just learned a lot.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and eventually I thought, these aren't the songs that I probably love doing the most. And if Tom can do all this booking and managing, then I'm sure I can figure it out. So myself and the drummer decided to start a new project. And I was looking for that band name. And I was like, what would I call myself? The Ann Wilson Project? No. Of course everybody would think of Heart there, but Attack of the 50-Foot Woman? I don't think so.
That's a good one.
I know. So I was just in a bar one day, and my girlfriend's friend, they were kind of throwing some things out there, and he's like, wait a minute. Duh. 6 Foot Blonde is clearly your new band name. And, yeah, it stuck.
And it sticks.
Yeah, it stuck, and we were off and running.
So how long ago was that? From 20, what year are we in? 2023?
Yeah.
Holy cow. So 6 Foot Blonde's been around for
I think
how many
maybe
years?
17 years,
Wow.
16 or 17 years. And oh my gosh, I played with so many wonderful musicians. I mean, so many lineup changes, because that's the way music is, right?
Yeah.
How many bands have you been in?
Yeah, you're right. Music is very fluid on a lot of levels. I mean, from individual performances to, longer term strategy to who's in, who's, maybe not feeling it anymore. I mean, just, you have to, I really think, I think what you're saying is the same thing, is you really have to kind of go with it and not take anything personal, and not,
Very true.
not, get uptight about change, because music's very fluid. It's like liquid.
Yep. And it has to be the right person at the right time. You have to have you have to want the same number of gigs per week. You all have to be on the same page about rehearsing, and who's picking the songs, and who's doing the booking, and pay, who's getting paid what. And it's such a collaboration. And I think the business part of it probably tears some bands apart, right? Because
It can.
yeah, you go to a show and you see everybody on stage and they're having a great time and gelling, collaborating, singing, and entertaining you, but there's so much work that goes behind, that's behind that. Yeah. So, and all of that is just something to be negotiated and figured out with people. So that's
It is.
part of
And
every business.
and it's funny too, because I've been in bands where people were like, wow, we had a good crowd. And it's like, oh, dude, it's not an accident.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, there's a lot of marketing and a lot of reaching out and, hey, and utilizing social media. And, when everybody does that, it usually works out pretty well.
Yeah. I always try to get to the gig early and hang up some flyers in the men's room. 6 Foot Blonde's going to be here next week. You should come out.
Well, who doesn't want to hang out in the men's room?
No, you guys don't have very nice places to go.
No, we don't.
I prefer the ladies.
No. Yeah, well, and it's blending, these days with which room is which and all that kind of thing.
There's that, yeah.
Which is okay, right? But
yeah, of course.
Ohio Stadium, I was, well, no, we're not going to I'm not going to tell that story. I have a funny story, but
Go
it's
ahead.
not
Come
very
on. We want to
appropriate.
hear you.
No, I can't tell that story.
Oh, it's an inappropriate story?
Oh, yeah, it's very inappropriate.
Oh, do we have any younger listeners?
Maybe.
Okay. We will let that pass. Maybe you'll do an X-rated version of this podcast, and you can tell all those kinds of, not necessarily X-rated, but for adults. How about that?
We haven't even pre-gamed, and we're laughing our heads.
I know. We haven't even had a glass of wine. What the heck?
We can.
I know. We got that gig later, though.
Yeah.
Let's save it for
and
then.
It's early. It's not even 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. We'll save it.
Man, what are some of your favorite places? And you really, you're 6 Foot Blonde, full band, acoustic. You guys are really playing the gambit of, a lot of Buckeye Lake, a lot of bars, a lot of neighborhood gigs, private events, corporate events. What are some of your favorite places, and why are they favorites?
I think the bigger, like the festivals and, like opening for the Crew. I think we did that either last year or the year before, but we did that a lot. And I think 2011 and 2012, that big crowd energy is really fun. Getting people going and getting people moving there. Those are fun. Really, honestly, the most fun probably is weddings because all the love, right? You got all the love. You don't have to market or promote that gig. In fact, if you do, they'll probably be mad if your friends show up at the wedding. Probably not. No.
She brought crashers.
So weddings are wonderful. And often we get to MC them, so that's fun. And then maybe even do a little jazz or something at dinner. So it's nice to mix it up too. You get to do different kinds of music in those gigs. So those are fun, but so are the Heine Gates and the corporate parties with Fred Reichert on stage playing guitar with the band.
Wow.
Those are just, there's so many memories. Oh,
for sure. Mm-hmm. In a lot of your gigs, you said, they just appear for you.
They do. I don't know, just putting good stuff out there and people respond to it. I think the way we got initially in with the Crew was we used to play at the Grandview Cafe, and the woman that was booking it would be there. And if you guys have been to my show, you know that I always try to invite people up on stage and make them part of the band, whether it's tambourining or singing a little bit. And I think she liked the fact that we were getting the crowd involved.
Yeah, it's totally a fun time.
Yeah.
And, even tonight, I'm looking forward to the Flint station. The patio's come a long way. Mm-hmm. And, for me, the Flint used to be a carryout on the railroad tracks where, as a young guy, I used to go out there on my 10-speed bicycle and bike out there. And we'd go to the bar at the top of the Flint, which is still there. Mm-hmm. And we used to drink.
I didn't know that.
We were kids, and we'd try to navigate those stairs down the side of that building. I don't know if you noticed that it wasn't a good time. And then, riding your bike home.
You sounded very responsible for an underage drinker.
I've become very responsible.
You sounded very responsible.
Sure.
Riding your bike home. I'm assuming you weren't 12 or something.
I was 14, 15, maybe. Yeah, 14, 15. Because I was really... That was back when, you'd jump on your bike in the summer and you'd be gone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
Dark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that famous meme that you see on social media where you and your buddies, come home from a long day in the summer on your bikes and mom had no idea that you were 7 miles away, built a fort in the woods and started your own fire.
They thought you were at Bobby's house 2 doors down.
Playing Scrabble.
Yeah.
No, we were drinking at Top of the Flint.
Yep.
Back in the 70s. Wow.
Yeah, we grew up without that social media. So all the stuff we got away with, no one is ever going to know unless we rat ourselves out, which I say we don't do.
No. No, not at all. So, Anne, where are you from?
I grew up in Grove City. Well, I was born on the hilltop, and then but went to school all the way through in Grove City, and then I went to Ohio University, go Bobcats,
Wow.
and I had my first karaoke experience there, and that was the late '80s. There wasn't much karaoke. They gave me these headphones, and only I could hear the music, and then you sang to the crowd of drunk guys and girls. I think I won an NXS album for that performance.
Wow.
It was fun. I mean, that was kind of the beginnings of it.
Good for you.
But
yeah.
there were definitely bands down there. Certainly, it wasn't on my
Athens.
radio. It wasn't on my radar. But yeah, The Stand, right?
I'm surprised nobody, kind of pulled you into because the music scene in Athens has traditionally been just huge.
Yeah. And we've gone down there to play. We went down. Rob Armstrong and I went down there and played a couple of years ago. Did a private gig for the owner of the pub. We did I think it was his 50th birthday. And we went down and did a gig at the Eagles or something. Those are the things that you just remember.
Yeah.
That kind of...
Well, and we mentioned Rob Armstrong, the milkman. He's really, I might call him now, but maybe try to get a podcast episode because he's a big part of the Columbus music scene. Mm-hmm. He's done a lot in Columbus, and I know that you've had a long run with him before he relocated to out of state. But he, I'm sure he's really been a fun part of the history of 6 Foot Blonde, and so a lot of the gigs that have taken place over the years.
Yeah, he's a great guitar player and a funny dude.
Oh, yeah.
Funny dude. Oh
Milkman.
my gosh, the milkman. Sometimes I could get him to make those jokes into the mic, but a lot of times he would just kind of mutter them under his breath, and I would be cracking up on stage. And people would look at me like I was crazy. I'm like, could you say that into the mic? I don't know what it was.
Well, with him, it's everything spur of the moment.
Yeah.
So if it hits him, he just blurs. There's no filter with the milkman.
But he had the mic.
Filter.
He always had the mic in front of him, but he refused to sing. I think one time we got him to sing that Chumbawamba song, I Get Knocked Down. He did it like twice, and then he's like, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Game
Could
over.
never get him to do it again. And it sounded great.
Well, he's a rapper though. He'll rap.
What?
There's some rap tunes I've seen him do.
You were
over the
kidding me.
years. No, he's a rapper.
Really?
That dude is the milkman rappeth.
Okay. Well, you know what? I plan to go down to Florida for some visits, so maybe we'll do another pop-up gig like we did when we went to Destin a couple of years ago. And we were down there. He brought his sound equipment. He's like, who knows if a gig might arise. And we found a patio and asked him if we could use it, and we just made our own show down there, and it was a good time.
Yeah, COVID affected a lot of people. Mm-hmm. How did it affect you?
Well, I mean, a lot of people just assumed that we would stop playing, and we did get our gigs canceled. We were supposed to play, actually, on St. Patty's Day of 2020, and they canceled that. And remember, they were saying, like, singers are the ones that are going to spread it the most because it's, you project so much. So, of course, the bars were closed, but that really just led people to want to do more things outside. So we did a lot of gigs by pools, and our neighborhood got really close, and we started performing in our driveway. And
that's cool.
It was wonderful. I mean, I hadn't even met the majority of my neighbors. I knew the immediate ones around me, but and I'm not in a very large neighborhood, so you would have thought I would have met people, but it really brought everybody together. For a couple of years, we did both acoustic and full band stuff right in the driveway.
That's cool.
It was a wonderful way to get through it, right? Because we were outside, so we felt like we were safe enough, and there's a lot of kids in our neighborhood too. And so they're like, Mom, when's the 6 Foot Blonde going to play again? So adorable out of your little 8-year-old mouth. My audience changed a little bit for that.
So do you become like a character when you perform?
I don't think so. I do think I really get into it. Like if you see me and you see me, I'm going to be projecting and kind of letting loose. Like that's the fun part of singing is you can just you feel it. You feel the music, and you don't think about anything else while you're singing. Like, everybody has their, worries, and you think about things throughout the day, but when you're singing and performing, you just set that stuff aside. And you just, I don't know, you feel it in your soul. So I don't think it's necessarily a persona, although it is very fun to get put on glittery things, jewelry and whatnot. It's fun to play that part. But it's just me. It's just me trying to have fun. I mean, honestly, music for me is just a fun time. Once you get past all the booking and the promoting and you just get to the gig and you get set up, and then boom, there's 3 to 4 hours of just fun.
Oh, for sure. And, you've been saying that you're not thinking about anything. You're not tapping into anything. You're truly living the moment.
Mm-hmm. Other than
enjoying that.
True. Other than thinking and trying to figure out what the next song's going to be. I've got that, band leader part of me that says, okay, I see some people over there. I think they're going to dance if we play some Tina Turner. And they often do. So that just comes with experience of, trying to get people moving or give them what they want. So that kind of thinking is happening.
You're definitely in that school.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Yep, absolutely. Make them part of the show, like I said.
And you have a great following too. I mean, your shows are always full.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, I've got people that have just been coming to see me forever, but I also have a lot of people that say, oh my gosh, how have I not seen you? And when can we see you again? And, oh, by the way, do you do private stuff? We'd love to have you play our block party or our next corporate event. So it's nice to have an impact, to feel like you have an impact on not only making that person's day nice or that experience nice, but also maybe helping them out in the future.
Yeah, indeed. And, like I said, we see your brand. We know it's a fun time. It's a good show. So in your 30s is when you started. Mm-hmm. And what kind of music do you listen to? What inspires you musically?
Gotta be female singers.
Yeah.
Gotta be female singers. Nothing wrong with male singers, but I just love any female with just a good, strong voice. Actually, I've been going up to Cleveland for work lately and jumping up on some blues stages up there. I've got some firefighter clients up there that are musicians, so they've been taking me around to a couple of open mic nights. And it's all the 12-bar blues. They just, they're like, whatever you want to do, we'll play it. Do some Aretha, whatever. So that's fun. That's fun to me. Adele, Pink. I love Pink. Melissa Etheridge was probably my biggest inspiration when I was like college age. And you're feeling all those feelings, and she just puts them into words. Music also just helps us realize, oh, I'm right there in my life too. Oh, I feel that way too. And I don't know, I just have never connected as much to male singers, and I don't know why, but...
Yeah, there's a few male singers for me that I think I really enjoy listening to. There's others, though, that I'm not a big fan of. Mm-hmm. I can listen to a couple of songs, but to your point, I feel the same way. I tend to be drawn toward female-fronted bands because I think the emotional wiring and relatability on a little deeper level beyond what's going on in the band is good. I appreciate a good, strong performance. I don't know. How do you feel about opera? Do you feel anything there?
I have not really been to an opera. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Are you a fan?
Well, some of the Italian operas and arias I've listened to at times when I've felt low. I've had some rough moments, and it's like, oh my God, so what am I going to listen to? And so I'll grab some Italian rooted, emotional, relatable material like that. I do like that. Some of the and I'm not a big not an expert in that type of music, but I do listen to it from time to time, and it's fun to get like a beat behind opera or even Gregorian monk chants. Sometimes working out or in a certain introspective mood, I'll throw something like that on. I like to mix some of that.
That's very interesting.
I'm going to try to do that. You see a little bit of equipment here. We have some plans to write some music and record, and we got everything available here to do that. But I'm going to mix some stuff. Hopefully not copyright protected material. But I'd love to record some Ann and Beth and some folks. I'm trying to line up for some stuff I've written. Just a lot of fun. Have you done any original music writing?
I think, and I played for you a song that, and I'll send it to you, and maybe you can put it at the end or beginning of but with a local musician who's since relocated to another state, Elliot Hosenfeld, from Butterfly Suicide, but from lots of bands, and he played with us for, oh my gosh, I think maybe almost 10 years in our full band, maybe 8. And we would do some writing sometimes. He was just such a creative guy. Like, I think I finished one song and re-recorded it, which my mom was really happy to hear. I found it and sent it to her, and she's like, oh my gosh, you need a manager. Why aren't you on the radio? Okay, Mom, thanks. I've never had that writing bug. I appreciate people that can do it. And one thing, I'm a big reader, and I think someday I'd like to write a novel. And I think I could do that easier than I can write songs. Telling a story, is something that I read so much. I think I've read 50 books this year already.
Good for you.
I'm just such a voracious reader, but
like what kind of material?
Just fiction.
Are you into?
Yeah, just fiction.
Just take me away.
Yeah, I'm just, absolutely. Turn the brain off kind of stuff. But reading, when you read a book, it's not like a TV show or a movie where you're seeing things that are happening. When you're reading a book, you're truly living somebody else's life. And so I just feel like I've lived 1,000 lives because I've just read since I was little. I've always been a crazy big reader. So I think that's something that I would like to do. And, being a musician, I think probably a lot of musicians have that other creative part of them, not just maybe reading or writing, but I've also been really always into art. So I love to paint, ceramics. I've done calligraphy, a little bit of graphic design, like just from a kid. I would say art was probably my first love, really. I remember dreaming as like a 4-year-old that I would wake up and my desk would be full of blank papers. So I could just draw all day long. So maybe that all comes from the same part of me. Are you
still involved in creating your own art?
I just finished. Yeah, I just took a ceramics class, and even at home, I've got all my art material. All I'll do is put on some good music, open up a bottle of wine, and just paint. So I need to make more time to do things like that.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
I really do. I'd like to see that. I think maybe COVID was an opportunity to do those things. Did you leverage the COVID time for some of that?
Like I said, I stayed pretty busy with work because I work with public sector employees. So I was still going to police stations and things really during COVID. So I just feel like I didn't probably have a lot of downtime. I don't think I did. And I could have used that as more of an opportunity to reset. So it's, it just happened. I guess we didn't have time to say, what am I? And of course, remember, people are like, ooh, this may last a year. And we were all horrified. Who knew? We didn't have any idea how long the pandemic was going to last. And maybe I would have done some different things. But, I'm at a point in my life where someday I'll probably slow down a little bit, so I've got a list of things that I would like to do.
Slow down. I've seen your agendas on a week.
That's why I'm trying to slow down. I can't speed up.
I don't see anybody slowing down.
This is as speedy as it gets. Well, travel's one thing too. So this year, 2023, we've already spent some time in Costa Rica. And then in Mexico, where I studied, and I lived in Latin America for 3 years. So fortunately, I've been lucky enough to keep my Spanish pretty fresh. And so I've got some people that I would consider to be family down in Mexico at a place where I used to live a long time ago. And I got down there and jumped up on a couple stages when I was down there, too, in English and Spanish, by the way. That was actually really fun. And then going to Ireland here in October. Going to spend a week, a little more than a week, traveling around Ireland to all the pubs. And I hear the music is amazing in there.
Oh, you know that it will be.
Oh, my husband, since he met me 15 years ago, has been talking about taking me to Ireland and getting into these, I can't remember what they're called, something like Killies or something like that. It's just a jam. Like, maybe that's our spiritual home, Len. Because that's the best part, right, is jamming. You can sit down with musicians, as long as they're decent musicians, you're all going to have some songs in common.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And over there, I don't know that there's a whole lot more to do.
Drink and sing. And look at the pretty scenery.
It's gorgeous. My mother is German and Irish, and her mother came from a little town that's now been mowed over by a freeway. Unfortunately, I think most of it is a freeway. I think the homestead is no longer there. Concrete, a pavement. But she did go over there, and it is gorgeous. The countryside is there's not a whole lot like it in America, but it's cool that you're traveling.
And my girlfriend, who's Scottish, is going to be there with us for the first half, and she's got a bunch of Irish cousins that are going to show us around. Oh, we've got the hookup. So yes, I've always been a huge traveler and just open to new experiences, right? There's so many people that say I could do those things, but it's so comfortable to just stay home. And I think, well, what are you going to remember later? Are you going to remember spending the weekend in bed with a book? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Or are you going to remember, coming downtown here to the Latino festival? Or,
right.
There's so much. And we're just here for such a short amount of time. Like, eat the burrito, drink the margarita, take the flight. It's just, I like to say yes to things. I have a hard time saying no to things. But I think that's gotten me to so many good places in my life.
Just for sure.
So many experiences, so many wonderful friends, and I've got a great family. I truly am very, very blessed.
We see you're living the moment on stage, but around you is also a lot of great, supportive family. Bob, your husband, just a great man, a really good guy.
He's a great roadie too. He picks up all my equipment at the end of the night. He also has an amazing singing voice and plays some guitar. He doesn't give himself nearly enough credit.
No, he won't do that.
He won't. He's not that guy.
No, but he's appreciated. And it's fun to hang out with Bob. And I think, will he be there tonight?
He can't be there. He is down in Athens. One of the things also that we want to do besides continuing to travel is just continue to be other places in Ohio. So we bought some acreage near Athens, and he's, in addition to being a teacher, he's a custom carpenter. He's such a craftsman. So he's renovating a place down there for us and acting like he's 20 years old, climbing on roofs. So he's taking some...
Is he alone in the woods on a 40-foot scaffolding?
Maybe.
Oh
I need to get him one of those panic buttons or something. I don't know if that'll make it all the way back.
I've fallen. I can't get up.
And there's a snake near me.
I've fallen. Nobody's going to help him.
The poor guy. He doesn't want me to come down. He said, no. Wait till it gets a little nicer, and then you can come down.
Wait, the weather gets nicer or the place?
The place.
Okay.
The place. He's like it's a pretty gross job right now.
He wants to surprise this girl.
He just doesn't want me to be down there when it's not perfect. And
what a gentleman.
He will make that place perfect. He will.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. What a great guy.
He's a great guy. When we got married coming up on 2 years ago, my kids asked him to adopt them, which was such a touching thing, and he's really practically been their father anyway. So I have 2 great kids, and they have a great dad. And so again, I'm blessed. I couldn't ask for better.
And a great mom.
Well, thank you. I try really hard.
And when is 6 Foot Blonde? No, so are they going to come to the show tonight? Your family?
They're so over that. My kids. I actually asked my son, and then I laughed. He's 21.
Are you coming tonight?
And the show is kind of close to where he lives, and he's got like a new girl he's hanging out with. I'm like, I literally texted him like, "Why don't you show your new friend what a cool mom you have?"
Exactly.
And he's so nice. He goes, "Yeah, I'll run it by her." I'm like, "Just kidding. Go have fun on campus or wherever you're gonna go." You know, like when we used to play with the crew 10 years ago, they were up on stage tambourining, you know, and I've gotten them to sing some, and I've tried to recruit them to be the next lead singers of 6 Foot Blonde, because my son is 6'3". We could put a wig on him. My daughter's almost 6 feet tall, and they have no desire.
It's amazing.
I'm like, all this could be yours.
All of this. I used to say that to my son. I have 2 sons. And I used to say, go in the garage and say, all of this is going to be yours. And they just look at me. They don't want it.
I know.
They don't care. They could care less.
They're their own people.
I've got some great guitars. They don't care.
Nope. Kids don't care.
Although the guitar player, one of my sons does play guitar. He plays keys and synthesizers more than anything else. But he did take a 1952 reissue. It's not a real 52 Telecaster, which really was my very favorite guitar. And of all the guitars, he took that one.
Okay. Did he? I was waiting to hear you say he did something bad with it.
He took it away.
Okay, but it's still alive. It's still
alive.
Okay, good. Well, that's nice that you've got
restraint. It's
nice that music will continue on in your family. That's good. I would have hoped for that, but you know, our kids, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're great kids, and you know, I'm just happy they're happy and healthy.
I think the key to sanity for parenting, at least for myself, is was when you realize, because I don't know that you did, but for me, was realizing that they're gonna find their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They don't have to do what I do.
Isn't
right?
it nice though when they listen
it's like,
to you when they're grown, and they start to kind of see, not that they were ever bad kids, but they're like, oh, you mean
that's what he's talking about.
You mean I should
go to the grocery
care
store
about my credit score?
I don't want to buy a car.
Yeah.
I'm 17. Well, they do now.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Interest rates are high now.
Right. Yeah. Got my son in under the wire right before they went up as a homeowner at 19. And he listened to mom, and he's renting the rooms out to his buddies, and he's learning how fun it is to try to get them to do their chores. I'm like, thank you. Now you know how I spent the last 20 years trying to get you to vacuum your bedroom. He's surprisingly neat now. I'm like, why? Why did you wait so long?
Good for you.
They're good kids.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun, and it's nice, you know, letting them get a little ahead of the game, right? And being there to support them.
Yeah, and sometimes you gotta, you know, let them go down that road, even though you know maybe not the best, but they're gonna live their life, you know.
Some of the things they have to learn on their own.
You gotta let them live their life.
For sure.
And you know, so it's a fine line. But, you know, at the end of the day, they will find their way.
They will. And nobody's going to get that exactly right, too. You're going to either do too much for them or not enough. And then you'll doubt yourself forever. But what you just want is for them to have something that they're passionate about in their lives. That's the thing, because that's the key. We can all get a job and buy a house if we're lucky and have a family. But passion like we have, like you and I have in music, is transcends. It's the icing on the cake of life.
It is the icing, and if you can find what that is in your life, you're truly blessed.
Yeah.
You can excel in it, which obviously you do.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Maybe I'll get in and be an opera singer next. Maybe you've inspired me.
That's cool.
Those are all big girls. I'll fit right in.
Well, I think you're very capable, obviously, of doing whatever you choose. But it's a totally different deal, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a totally different direction. It's either that or rap. I don't know. My son might cringe if he heard.
Bring the milkman back. Let him
We're
rap.
gonna he needs a podcast, and I need to hear this rapping because playing with him for all those years, I never.
I do have the capability to dial somebody in to the podcast
with no warning. You talking about?
I wouldn't do that to Rob now.
Oh, okay.
God only knows what he's doing.
Yeah, really. Sweating, I'm sure. Yeah. Maybe if you do one with him, you can dial me in, and I can hear it firsthand.
There's a lot of people that have done it and have reached out and are scheduled, and
did you say you're scheduled out the whole year
through like January now?
That's
next
wonderful.
year.
Thanks for giving me a spot.
Well, yeah, I try to see. There's always an opportunity to do it. It doesn't take very long to sit down and do an episode. So you're here working with Beth, and we had not as much pregame. But we had some fun.
Oh,
we
for
had
sure.
some fun.
For sure.
It takes about an hour to get everything pulled together and recorded and processed, and I don't edit, so there's nothing we need to dive in there and hack out.
Yeah, since you held back on that one story, I guess that's true.
I don't remember what it was now.
Something about an OSU bathroom, I think.
Oh,
So
jeez.
save that for another episode.
There's a couple times I've been pulled into a woman's restroom. OSU is one of those places, back when I was young. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. We'll let our imaginations fill in the gaps there.
I haven't thought about that. Why am I? You have me in this ADD mode. You even have me thinking about bringing the guitar tonight. I feel like I could add a little something, but I don't. Beth, I love to perform with Beth. I love it, but I'd like for her to have her time, and so it's hard. It's not hard because we have performed together, just the two of us, or with others, and it's always fun. But I was like, I kind of have a separation of church and state. It gives her thing to do. She has a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like you, she keeps herself very occupied.
Well, you could always just do one set or half a set with us too, and then you could just relax and bring us cold beers for the rest of it.
I slip people 20s to do that on my behalf. I'm a physical destructed heap right now. It's horrible. I'm getting there though. I've got some issues I'm dealing with.
Yeah, we all do.
We all have those things.
And yet here we are.
But to haul Beth hauls a lot of stuff. I'd like to do more than I do.
We are perfectly capable. Bad. Yep, we got it. You just show up, and if you feel like playing, play.
I will.
Yeah, be part of 6 Foot Blonde featuring Megabeth.
I'm just an ADD factor. That with the two of you. I mean, Beth's the one though. She's the rudder. Okay. Yeah. That I think will try to keep things together.
She's steering your ship. I know that's true.
Not as strongly as you might think.
No. Sometimes we women just need to give a little guidance to our men, and then you do the same for her.
She does live with me, which has to be just a horrifying experience for her.
Whatever.
Seriously.
In this terrible, terrible place you live in.
I'm pretty...
It's beautiful. They have a beautiful home.
Oh, man. Thank you. We've been here just over 2 years, and it's been quite an experience. She's the best part. I mean, just a wonderful person.
I agree.
I'm fortunate to be a couple with Beth.
I can tell how happy you are about that.
I am.
I know. I'm being very serious. I'm sorry if that sounded sarcastic. It wasn't at all. You guys, I was just commenting on, how happy you two seem together.
Yeah. We're building a lot of things together. This winter will be an opportunity to record some music that I've written that's rattling around in my head. It's more spirited rock, traditional kind of rock oriented. And given that I'm not a very good singer, I think Beth, she'd be able to really bring some of that out.
You can write stuff that's good for her voice. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, I think so. And but there's this winter I think will be a good time. She'll do less traveling, and we'll have some time to spend outside of doing some gigs ourselves and going out to others, which is kind of what we do.
I need to do a little bit more of that too.
Well, we hang out now and then.
Yeah,
we've
we
seen
do.
some music together, and it's always a great evening.
Yeah.
And you're a big karaoke fan still.
Karaoke's nice because, first of all, you can try out new music before you make the band learn it, right? See what works. See how the crowd responds to things. See if it's even in your range or adjustable. And then, you can have an evening with your friends and sing 2 or 3 songs, and they sing 2 or 3 songs, and then you're just sitting around relaxing. So it's a nice off night kind of thing to do. And there's a lot of really nice karaoke DJs out there, and bars I think do well by it. So I don't think karaoke's the enemy. I think it's fun.
No, it's not.
It's fun. I think it gets a bad rap sometimes, but not everybody gets to always be a star, and that's a great opportunity for people to express themselves. Anybody can express themselves in that way now. So that's a fun world, and it's a great evening with friends.
Yeah, and also a shout out to Little Bar on 4th downtown here. Beth and I have found ourselves there. They have live karaoke with
fun. Los does that. Yeah.
And he performs with the full band.
Yeah, he's been playing.
That you've performed with him. He performs with Beth as well.
Yeah, we shared a drummer way before we met.
Love him. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Live karaoke's fun too.
Yep. Yeah, it's a switch.
Option.
Yeah, it's half karaoke, half you're in the band. Also, there's so much out here. Columbus is an amazing city. My husband and his 3 siblings grew up in New Jersey, and they all live here in Ohio now. They all got out of Jersey for whatever reason. And, sometimes their friends say, why Ohio? Why Columbus? But there's so much culture here. It's a beautiful city. There's all kinds of music and events, and I've lived other places. I lived in California for a while, and again in Latin America. I traveled around in Europe, and Columbus is home. I don't anticipate leaving. Now, I wouldn't mind having a little winter place in Costa Rica. But most of the time I'm going to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad that you're planning to stay.
Thank you.
And I think, everybody needs to go see a 6 Foot Blonde show. And tonight, they'll get 6 Foot Blonde and Beth of Megabeth.
Yep.
And some other, she's got a lot of various things happening, but I think that'll be a fun show tonight.
Yeah, and next Saturday night I'll be with Jason Greenwald, also another amazing musician at the Buckeye Lake Winery. We do quite a bit out at Buckeye Lake, so I'm not sure when you'll get this shared with everybody.
We'll put it out there before.
Yeah, check us out. You can always find me either Ann Wilson or 6 Foot Blonde on Facebook, and usually gig information is there.
Fantastic. We'll check it out, Ann. Appreciate you spending the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Len.
And This is episode 19 of Columbus Local Podcast. Thank you so much, Ann. Talk to you soon.
You.
Thanks for listening.